Hey everyone, so this is the visual effects breakdown for the effect that you just saw, the astral projection as I call it, which is basically, this is from the Doctor Strange trailer, and I basically just make the effects my own and make it a bit different. And yeah, so let's jump to the plate. So for the plate, what I have is just me pushing my friend here, my friend Gemma. I just push him, and then I shot the footage in 120 frames per second, so that way I could just make it slow-mo in After Effects using the enable timer mapping, using the timer map. So yeah, it's cool. So let's go back to the plate, the discom, and yeah, so let's jump right into all the layers. So this layer here is just the light, just to add more epicness and more like, so there's going to, just to add more fancy energy burst effects. I just brighten it up to make it like there's a light burst coming out of his body. And yep. And then the second adjustment layer is just the pixel motion blur. It's just to add in motion blur back to the shot, because it was shot in super high frame rate, so there is no motion blur. So I just added the motion blur back and using pixel motion blur. And then here we have the shockwave, which is, I didn't do the shockwave. They are from Videocopilot Shockwave effects that you could check on the description. They are really cool and really easy to use. They're just footage, so I just dropped them in, and then just color correct them. And yeah, and like the wispy smoke effect just really adds the magic, like the fantasy magic element to the shot, which is super cool, super helpful. Thank you, Andrew Kramer. And for the ghost, which is what I call this effects here, it's also really simple. So if we go into the comp, it's just a rotoed version of my friend, and also, as you can see, it was like the slow-mo for that shot was basically I adjust the slow-mo to be a bit faster, because as you can see here, his legs are already on the air, but here they have not on the air. So like this footage runs faster than this one. So yeah, that's just like a preference thing, really. And so as you can see, yep, so it's like a roto. Go back plate here, and I just change it to screen mode, because if we go into normal mode, it looks like this. And yeah, and I just added glow, added hue and saturation to play around with the colors and the curves. Mostly I use the curve to make the footage a bit like more contrast. That way when I use the screen, it would look a bit more like ghostly effects, because the original shot is like in a flat color, so there's not much dark value in there. And what screen does is basically turning all the like darker values into transparency. So so if I didn't use the curve, it just looks gray because there is no dark values in there. So I just use the curve to punch in the dark. That way when I use the screen, it's transparent. Basically I just make it more contrasted. Yeah. And these mats here are just rotoed. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, they're not like super fancy things, so they're just roto, because that way if we go if we disable the shockwave, it would look like, like the ghost is coming out of his body. Yeah, so that's just what the roto is for, nothing too fancy. And as you can see, we have like the the limbs, like the other limbs on the back there, what I did is I just rotoed the arm and the leg and then just put it on the back. So I rotoed Gamma here and then put the duplicated version of the legs and the arm and put it on the back. And for the smoke, it is just a simple fractal noise. Just a fractal noise. If we just solo it, it's a fractal noise with turbulent displays and with an animated I animated the offset so it looks like the smoke is going to that direction, to the left. So that way when I put it with the ghost, it looks like the ghost has the smoke trail, when it's really there's no trail in there. It's just a really manual animation between, like, really just a good timing between the fractal and the ghost. And that was actually one of the most difficult part, because I have to animate the smoke to make it, you know, to have the same speed, the same velocity as the ghost. Yeah, I hope you learned a thing or two from this. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And thank you for watching. See you later.